Welcome to the voyage of the naughty knots. We're going to talk about the greatest naughty knot of all. Now I say not, I'm saying K-N-O-T and N-O-T. Not. They sound the same, and they mean the same. When you say not, N-O-T, it means no. When you have a not, K-N-O-T, it means you're stuck. So let's look into this. Follow my knots. You may discover something that's got you stuck in a knot. You have to keep looking at it over in different ways every time. A knot is never understood by looking at it from one perspective. You have to keep turning it around and seeing all sides of it. And that's what I do in my talks. So the greatest naughty knot of all is the Zen koan mu, M-U, mu. There were 1,000 of Zen koans, and most of them came from the golden age of Zen in the 7th to 9th centuries A.D., when there were so many Zen masters in China that you couldn't count them. It was the golden age of Zen. And it was this Chinese Zen that I discovered, and the teaching of the koans, K-O-A-N-S, these knots of Zen, that really awakened my life and freed me from the knot, you see. When you understand when you can see a knot and understand how to untie it, if you can find the mother knot, then whatever knots happen in your life, they're released spontaneously. You don't have to try to untie the knot. And you know your life is full of knots, from minor knots, like having an argument with the wife over and over again, or with the boss, or with your body. Knots everywhere. Where can you go that there's no knot? Buddha said life is suffering, which means life is knots. So, and I'm reminded of the famous retort in the Battle of the Bulge, when the Germans asked the army that was trapped in Bastogne, and he says, "You surrender?" And the general said, "Nuts." Nuts. Anyway, I digress. So what is the greatest naughty knot of all? The mother knot. The mother naughty knot. If you could find that mother knot, all knots will be untied. And this mother knot is the first knot of Zen. It's called the breakthrough knot. If you can get through this Zen koan, you can get through all koans. If you can get through this knot, you can get through all knots. So what is the knot? This knot is very simple. It's so simple that it can't be cracked. The knot of mu cannot be cracked by the intellect. It is impervious to philosophical, psychological interpretation. That's why it's the first koan, mu. What is mu? So this is a story. Now all Zen koans are a little drama, a meeting between a monk and a master. And that meeting is a knot. The monk comes with a question, a heartfelt question. It could be, what is the way? What is Buddha? Who am I? What is the way? How do I get out of these knots? How do I get out of suffering? Please, put my mind at rest. I have been hurting all my life with this question, and I finally get to see the great master, and I give him my heartfelt question, hoping for relief. And so this monk comes to Joshu with his heartfelt question, and he says, "What, does a dog have Buddha nature or not?" Does a dog have... Now in China, in Asia, the dog is the lowest of animals. The lowly dog. Nothing is lower than a dog in that culture. Not like in ours. But the dog... So if he says, does a dog have Buddha nature or not? He wants a yes or no answer. Now this is a monk. And if he's a Buddhist monk, he knows that the primary axiom of Buddhism is that all animals, all beings, all sentient beings, ants, fleas, tigers, elephants, and man have this Buddha nature, this essence. All beings have this essence, this Buddha nature. And so he asks a question that no monk would ask. Does a dog have Buddha nature? And Joshua says, spontaneously, immediately, without thought, mu. Now, mu means no in Japanese. So what's going on here? Is this feasible? Would a monk who is a Buddhist monk? This is like a priest going to the abbot with his question, and he would say, is the Pope Catholic? Is water wet? Does the sky have clouds? These are stupid questions, idiotic questions, absurd questions. So there's something not being said here when the monk says, does a dog have Buddha nature? Of course, Joshua is caught in a gotcha question here. Because if Joshua says, yes, a dog has Buddha nature, he's not really answering the question, the heartfelt question of the monk, which is hidden beneath the question. What is the monk's question? What's hidden beneath his question, does a dog have Buddha nature? Well, you have to ask the question, what is he not saying? What is the monk not saying? He's saying, does a dog have Buddha nature? So what he's not saying is, if a dog has Buddha nature, then why don't I feel it? If I had Buddha nature, I would not be suffering. If I had Buddha nature, like Buddha says, I would not be in this angst, this nagging feeling that won't let me go. I'd be like a dog, happy. You see? So the monk is asking two questions, one on the surface, but one beneath. So Joshua says no. Now what is he saying no to? Is he saying no? A dog doesn't have Buddha nature? Well, that's wrong. Does he say yes? A dog has Buddha nature? Well, then Joshua is not answering the monk's question. And the monk leaves, well, what the fuck? He leaves with his heart pain, you see. His question wasn't answered. The great master just gave him information. Like ask Google, click, yes or no. That wasn't what the monk wanted. Release from his suffering, this nagging feeling that he's not complete. We all have that feeling. We all suffer from that not. So Joshua said, moo. Okay, I'm going to pick this up in a talk right after this. So subscribe to my talks and follow this talk, because this is a deep, naughty knot. Thank you.